If I were an alien and I came to this earth and objectively went to a gym and just observed, and I looked at people's body types, people's activity, the frequency in which they were doing things at, the weight in which they were carrying, I don't think it would be very difficult through deductive reasoning and logic to find out a pattern. You see, those people who have chiseled bodies, who are in shape, who are toned, who are strong, who are faster, are the same ones who are subjecting a greater weight to their body. They're putting more weight. They're doing it in more frequency, more repetition, faster, in a more intense manner than those who are not. And see, we understand that from a physical perspective, that in order for us to grow muscles, in order for us to develop, in order for us to get stronger and faster, we have to go through challenging times. We have to subject a weight to our bodies, to what we think is possible, over and over and over again until it becomes easy, and then we put on more weight. That is how you grow stronger physically. There's no way around it. However, when we were to use that same type of logic emotionally or psychologically or financially in our careers, this is where we get all twisted up. We don't follow that same type of logic. We feel like things should be given to us. We have a sense of entitlement, and we want to avoid problems. We want to avoid sweating. We want to avoid putting in the effort. We want to avoid putting on more weight. We want to choose a path of least resistance because we don't realize that adversity is a constant in life. Adversity, challenges, struggle, obstacles are the very things that we need in order to get stronger. The very things that we need in order to take things to another level. Problems in our life. If you're experiencing a problem in your life right now, it is a sign of life. It's an indication of growth. It's an indication of a desire to push your standard beyond where you're currently at. The biggest problem for us is this. We feel like if there's a problem in our life today, that there's something wrong. There may be something wrong, but if we choose to look at a problem as an opportunity, we will realize that problems are actually an indication. They're pushing us in a trajectory. They're guiding us in a way for us to grow, to develop, to develop something within us, to tap something within us that has not been tapped. If you are going through a problem today that seems insurmountable, that seems something beyond yourself, something that you can't handle, may I encourage you, that may be the very thing that you need in your life right now to grow, to take your career to the next level, to take your relationship to the next level. You see, problems are opportunities for us. The key is not to avoid problems. The key is to have higher quality problems. See, those who avoid problems at all costs, who avoid challenges, who avoid obstacles, who always choose the path of least resistance, they've become a couch potato. They've become like the person in the gym who's just walking around sipping water, doing some stretches, not lifting the weights that they were there in the gym to do in the first place. We live in a life where this is the gym. This is the living, active gym where we get beat up every day, and how we choose to respond will determine the people we become. If you choose to avoid problems, you will die emotionally. You will die psychologically. Even though you are walking around at the age of 35, 40, 45, 50, we just may not have buried you yet. But if you're trying to avoid problems, you are emotionally dead. I guarantee you. If all you want in life is pure security, pure certainty, all you want are 3 meals a day, you just want a nice bed, you want to have some free time, you want to have a little bit of companionship, you want to have a little bit of time to read, may I suggest to you that that lifestyle is no different than the person who's in prison. Because in prison, you get the same thing. You get 3 meals a day, you get a nice bed, you get a little bit of companionship, you get a little bit of free time. And yet many of us, we have given up. We've surrendered our freedoms because there's a fear. There's a fear that we're going to lose out. There's a fear that we are not going to succeed. There's a fear that we're going to fail. There's a fear of our insecurities. But may we rise up when we see problems, and when we rise up and we see these as opportunities. if we are not willing to voice our convictions, to speak out for things that we believe in, to stand firm in the things that we believe in, and the things that we stand for, to take risks, to make life an adventure, to roll with the punches, to always see the greater good in things, to respond in a positive manner to the challenges that we've received in our life, all we are doing is tiptoeing through an early grave. We're tiptoeing through life only to still arrive at the same destination. You see, life isn't always easy. We're gonna go through the winds of despair, the winds of disappointment, the winds of injustice, where people say things and do things to us that are just flat out unfair, that are just unjust, that are uncalled for. The question is not whether we're gonna receive these type of acts, these type of experience in our life. The question is, as men and women of high character, how are we going to respond? How are we going to respond when we face adversity or trials in our life? See, the true litmus test, I believe, is not whether we receive this, but it's whatever we receive, how are we going to respond? Are we going to allow the circumstance to make us bitter, or are we going to allow the circumstance to make us better? Whatever we experience, are we becoming more bitter, or are we becoming better? Are we becoming wiser? Are we becoming stronger? Are we becoming more experienced? Are we becoming more knowledgeable? I've personally had deaths in my family. I've had family health issues. I've had relationships where people have cheated on me. I've been in an IRS tax audit. I've lost a significant amount of money in bad financial decisions. I've been in business ventures that have not worked out the way that I've wanted it. I've been a father who've lost my patience, who've done things that I'm not proud of. I've been in fights with my wife where I've lost my temper, where I've gotten so angry, where we've been in these fights where I frankly didn't know if we were gonna make it or not. I've gone through trials. I've questioned my faith in God. I've questioned whether God existed in my life or not. I've gone through trials and trials and trials, and I know that you have as well. And the person that you are today, the person that I am today, is a byproduct of the response based on those trials and tribulations. So if I may remind us that what we call problems are really opportunities. What we call trials, what we call obstacles, what we call things not going our way are really opportunities. They're blessings in disguise. They're gifts to us. They're meant to help us to become stronger, to bring out an element within us that has never been brought forth before. In reality, what we call problems today in this day and age, it's almost comical. It's funny because what we call problems is somebody else's blessing in most of the world. We hear people complaining about their kids because their kids their floor of their bedroom is messy. Where I have friends who want to have kids and they cannot have kids, or they have kids that have passed away at a young age. What a blessing it would be to be able to have their kid have a messy room. Or we think about our spouse is not acting a certain way. Are you kidding me? There are people that I know, that are friends who have passed away, who would give anything just to spend a moment with their spouse. And yet here we are complaining about a communication style with our spouse. Or we get so upset because we only made $250,000 on a business deal when we were meant to make $600,000. Are you kidding me? There are people in Africa and other parts of the world that are starving, that don't have water and food, and here we are thinking about these problems in a way as if they're a life and death situation. So my encouragement to all of us, and when I say that, I truly mean all of us, myself included, is that we would see these challenges that we go through on a daily basis as blessings. That we would realize that there's light at the end of the tunnel when we go through dark times. In reality, when we talk about the light at the end of the tunnel, the light is real. The tunnel is an illusion. The tunnel is the illusion that we've created in our mind. The light is real, but the tunnel is the illusion. And might I encourage us to change our perspective, change our mindset, to change our psychology so we don't see the tunnel as a tunnel, but we realize that that was self-imposed, that that was created by us, that was created by our rule structure of how things should be. If you are going through a challenging time today, may I encourage you to not give up, to never ever give up. If you can look up, you can get up. You are victorious. You are not a victim. You are smart, you are wise, you are beautiful, you are resourceful. You know how to excel, and you know how to break through the current circumstances that you're in. You know how to rise to another level. Miracles happen every day. It just takes one conversation, it takes one person, it takes one connection, one breakthrough to get to the other side. On the other side of what we're struggling with right now is another version of who we truly want to be. It's a greater version of who we are. May I remind us that as we go through these struggles, as we go through our quote-unquote problems, that they're not just for us, that they're not meant just for us, that they are meant for us to be in a shining testimony, an example to others of how we rise up and how we break through or how we handle the circumstance. Don't be so self-focused upon your situation that you lose sight of that. Do this, live life, not just for yourself. Break through not just for yourself, but the other people that you care about in your life. Life is more than just for you. When you break through of what you call a problem today, you set free the bondage of people who are going to come up before you, who are going to look to you as a leader, as an example, as somebody that they can see and say, because he did it, I can do it too. Because he overcame, I can overcome as well. And I'll end with this analogy that I find very fitting in my life when I think about problems that I go through. And it's the analogy of sharpening a knife. If you think about how a knife is sharpened, it's iron sharpening iron. In other words, you take something that is tough and hard and you rub it against something else that's tough and hard. Well, we have problems that are tough and hard, but we ourselves are also tough and hard. And if we do not give up in the process, that friction, what seems to be heat, what seems to be uncomfortable, the heat that dissipates, that creates, the uncomfortability that creates, if we do not give up, if we continue to persist, if we look for the greater path, if we find the beauty, we find the optimism, we find the positivity within it, we will become more and more refined. Things that don't belong will be removed. Shavings, iron shavings that aren't fitting are removed, that we become more refined, we become sharper, we could become more precise to do the task that we were created. We will become more aligned with the mission of what we were created for. So with that, my encouragement to myself and to all of us is, whatever you're going through today, see that problem as an opportunity. Don't give up. Never, ever give up. God bless.